So if
yes, 615,000.
615,000 is minimum wage.
Yes.
If you own a company, can you pay your security personnel 615,000 per month in Nigeria of today? If it's your company.
Yes, I can. All things being equal, I can, and I'll tell you how.
But you know, all things are not equal in Nigeria. You've said inflation with your mouth. You've said lack of growth, 3.5% growth. You've said lackluster economy. So all things are not equal. But you say you will be able to pay 615,000.
I thought you asked me. I thought you asked me to give you an answer. I thought you asked me to give me an answer. If you knew the answer, then why did you ask me?
I have a right to probe. It's my job to probe you.
Okay.
It's my job to get you the best possible answer out. That's my job. Go ahead.
It is also my duty to tell you that if you ask me a question, you shall allow me to answer. If not, don't ask. Then don't ask the question.
Go ahead. 615,000. Tell me how you're going to pay in Nigeria today. Tell me. Go ahead.
So that is why there is a provision. So that's the reason why. That is why there is a provision. I mean for a follow up. So now you've asked me.
Go ahead and tell me how you're going to pay
615,000.
How will you pay 615,000?
And I told you. And I told you.
Labour Union said no going back from 615,000 minimum wage, 615,000 or no deal. Now, I think to my own understanding here, what I think they should do, because if you look at it now, even Soludo, governor of Anambra State, it's your experience as an economist, you are not even able to pay. Soludo, when he get mount, he cannot even pay his worker for 30,000 naira. I even said they are paying 20,000 naira, yet he's owing them. He cannot even pay. This is not like there's no funds to pay. There's no doubt. There's money to pay because of lack of selfish interest, greediness. They do not want to pay. That's number one. There is money. And if there is no money to pay, there is no funds to pay. Let's do it. Some states are not able to pay. Let them do it like this. Like, look at the states that earn way higher than other in terms of allocation. Then let those ones pay. They can afford to pay. They have more money. Then other states reduce it for them. And talking about that, reducing or no reducing, is it because there's no money to pay? No. Or there's no customers, there's no investment, there are no turnover. No, because there's no enabling environment for those businesses to thrive. Because there's no enabling environment for them. So all the businesses are folding up. Some businesses are folding up, even relocating out of Nigeria. So if you provide enabling environment for them to trade, do their businesses, you see all these things we are talking about tonight to be a thing of the past. There's money to pay, but provide electricity. If you want to negotiate, reduce the minimum wage, then reduce the cost of food and services. When you reduce them, then you think about reducing the minimum wage so that it can be affordable for those workers to pay, to afford their living. You don't understand? So you are hiking everything. This man said Tinubu has turned Nigeria to a tax collector, like Agbero in Lagos. They are always taxing. So you are increasing the cost of food and services, electricity tariff hike. You're increasing and you are reducing the workers' salary. How do you expect them to pay? You are only creating more poverty. Because if you pay more money, then there should be more money to patronize those businesses. There should be money to patronize them to buy whatever they need to buy. But there is no money to pay. Those ones are not any money because it's not as if they don't want to buy. Is there anybody who do not want to eat? Yes, they want to eat, but they do not have the funds, the resources to purchase whatever they wanted because the money their salaries are not enough for them. So reduce those cost of food and services. Reduce the cost of minimum wage so that it can be affordable for them. The more the money circulates, the more those people make money. Do you not understand? So reduce it. Now, Labour Union said there's no going back. And federal government are not ready to pay 615,000. So how do we settle this? A deadline now for them to go on national strike again, 31st of this month. You see, there's still a lot of problems. Reduce the cost of food and services, electricity, transportations, fuel price, all those things. If you can reduce them, then you are negotiating with them to reduce their minimum wage. You can't say you are not ready to pay food, everything has gone up. People are willing to eat, to travel, to do this, but there's no money. So you can only use money to create wealth. You can't create wealth with poverty to poverty. It's not going to work. So what do you think? And the federal government should do on this? So please share, like, comment, and share. And please do me a favor, subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, so that you don't miss out any of the audits. Please, you'll be the first person to get any audit from this platform. Just hit subscribe, hit the notification button. Please, you know as it go now.
A couple of days ago, we had you here. And the question I keep asking, let's go back to the minimum wage. I think now the government has said, okay, we can move the needle a little bit about 100K, thereabouts. Is that a good place to start from in this day? What do you want? Is this still the 615,000 or nothing? Secondly, I know you also want to talk about the reversal to the tariffs as regards electricity tariff. Some will say since they reversed to about 206, is it a total reversal to 65 naira or nothing? Let's know those positions. But with 100,000 or a little over 100,000 hovering around the table now, can we do a deal now or is still 615,000 or nothing?
Thank you very much. It's my honor and privilege to be with you this morning.
Bless you, sir.
Yes. On the issue of 100,000, I'll say directly that it is totally unrealistic and unacceptable. And the figures speak for themselves. How much does a bag of rice go for now?
80,000 as I yesterday.
Let's forget about the 20,000.
80,000 naira.
Did I hear you say
80,000 as I yesterday, yes.
80.
Yes, 80,000 naira.
80,000 naira.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that speaks to the matter. Rice is one of our staple food here in the country. But that is not all. The figures are manifestly clear. One, at the time we did 30,000, the inflation rate was 11.40%. At the moment, inflation is 33.7% and climbing. The exchange rate are given the fact that we're an import-dependent economy. The exchange rate is 1,600 naira to $1 and climbing. If you look at interest rates, the central bank has jacked up interest rates, per hour. If you look at the customs, within 3 months or so, customs jacked their rates how many times? So everything points to the fact that nothing is settled yet. There is a lot of instability in our economy as it is. But also take note of the fact that at the time we made the demand of 615,000, government had not jacked up the tariffs. Government has since jacked up energy tariff by 250%. Those who are going to pay that 250%, I assure you, they will pass on that cost to the prices of their products and services. But even before the effect of 250% begins to manifest, I'm sure you must have read in the papers about the complaints of Manufacturers Association. Their warehouses are full because there is no longer capacity to buy. And then secondly, prices are getting higher and higher. So what that means is that 100,000 will go to no issue. I do believe that 615,000 is modest enough, is well thought out, and government should do the needful. On the issue of tariff hike, the rules stipulate that before tariffs are jacked up, there should be a conversation with the critical stakeholders. Government never did that. It acted in violation of that rule. But beyond that, we are not talking about 5%, 10% price hike. We are talking about a whopping 250%. Where does that kind of thing happen? But in any case, at the 250% tariff addresses the question of symptoms. They are not addressing the fundamental issues. Why the successor entities in the electricity sector are finding it difficult to operate. That matter is not being addressed. The last time that I did, at my last outing with you, I did say that the privatization of the energy sector was patently faulty and that it has led to an unhappy marriage between the successor entities and the government. And the right appropriate thing to do will be to do a review of that process or a reversal. There is nothing to be ashamed of here, because we cannot go at this rate. You do 250%, now the next time it's going to be 500%, until you do 1,000%, and yet there is no destination in sight. So all we are saying is that we should revert to status quo ante, preceding the 250% tariff hike. Thank you. It has not. So
you mean Anambra is owing Anambra State is owing workers' salary?
Anambra is one of them. And let me also say this of Anambra State. Anambra State is one of the worst, if not the worst, wage payer. I keep saying this. You know, the national minimum wage is not synonymous with the pay packages or the pay structures adopted by the states. Each state pays according to their capacity, their pay structure. I keep using this example. In Benue State, a chief, that is a level 14 officer, earns more than a level 16 officer in Anambra State. And I hope the governor is watching and listening. I'm waiting for anybody to say what you are saying is a lie. So Anambra does not value its workers. It does not value what they call dignity of labor. So it is one of the states that is observing this law in breach. And that is the reason why we have said the workers in the state should mobilize for action.
All right.
If by 23rd of this month, yes.
Let me just ask quickly.
So,
what's the backlog?
Yes,
you still touch on Zamfara, and I want you to give us name and shame the states today, because I'm sure a number of people will be quite surprised to hear that Anambra State, with Governor Soludo at the helm of affairs, is owing workers' salary. How many months are workers being owed in Anambra and Zamfara? Then please tell us the situation.
I want to tell. I will give you the statistics, but quite unfortunately, I do not have them on my fingertips now. But I want to tell you, we're not talking about 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. No, it's been a willful conduct, an act of disdain for workers. I've just told you that beyond the issue of even the minimum wage, the governor has no respect for the quality of workforce he does have. That is the reason. I've just given you an example. And some states even pay much higher than Benue pays. And so there is no reason why anybody would think that wages are the issue. No, it's not wages. What drives costs are imprudence, corruption, and all of that. And we know this. So speaking directly to to the question of capacity to pay, I want to tell you that the states have been reaping, in fact, have been enjoying a windfall.
Okay.
Look at what has been shared in the FAC in the past months.
All right.
From 700 and something billion. From 700 and something billion to 1.3 trillion. Okay. So they have enough resources to play around with, and I would advise that they do not take labor for granted, because labor creates wealth.
All right, you didn't talk about, you mentioned Anambra, Zamfara. You were going to tell us the Zamfara situation. You say, yes, in the case of Anambra, it's a total disdain for workers, in your words.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I was about to tell you that in Zamfara, that you must have read, at least you must have seen video clips of the profligacy in Zamfara. The tragedy. If you do not have that video clip, I'll look for it. I'm going to send it to you. That even basic things the government of Zamfara failed to do, but could afford to indulge in other excesses that befuddle the mind.
Very, very well said. As regards the case, we've also seen some reactions from the governor of Anambra, for instance. I'd like to ask, can you give us exactitudes or numbers? Out of the 30,000 naira, how much are they paying workers as we speak in Anambra State? Exact numbers. How much?
Some 18,000. Probably 20,000. Let me tell you.
They pay 18,000. Yes, how much does Zamfara pay workers out of the 30,000?
Around that 18,000 too.
They pay 18,000, and they don't even pay the 18,000 as I went due. Yes. There's a big backlog. So you guys, because I saw that there was back and forth on Labor Day, Workers' Day on the 1st of May in Anambra. So you guys are going to shut down that state, very soon. As regards the workers, you're going to go out on a big strike if nothing is done. Secondly, I would like to ask, as regards this 615,000, That's the minimum wage, isn't it? So if
Yes, 615,000.
615,000 is minimum wage,
Yes.
if you own a company, can you pay your security personnel 615,000 per month in the Nigeria of today? If it's your company.
Yes, I can. All things being equal, I can. And I'll tell you how.
But you know, all things are not equal in Nigeria. You said inflation with your mouth. You've said lack of growth, 3.5% growth. You've said lackluster economy. So all things are not equal. But you say you will be able to pay 615,000.
I thought you asked me to give you an answer. I thought you asked me to give me an answer. If you knew the answer, then why did you ask me?
I have a right to probe. It's my job to probe you.
Okay.
It's my job to get you the best possible answer out. That's my job. Go ahead.
It is also my duty to tell you that if you ask me a question, you shall allow me to answer. If not, don't ask. Then don't ask the question.
Go ahead. 615,000. Tell me how you're going to pay in Nigeria today. Tell me. Go ahead.
So that is why there is a provision. So that is why there is a provision. I mean for a follow up. So now you've asked me.
Go ahead and tell me how you're going to pay.
615,000.
How will you pay 615,000?
And I told you. And I told you.
No, I've actually go ahead and answer the question.
You give me the floor and I'll answer you.
The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Listen, I was telling you that 615,000 is payable by those in the employment industry. I told you the resources are there. Everything points to the fact that more money will be earned once the capacity of workers is enhanced. Now, nobody is buying because they don't have the capacity to buy. It is not because they do not have the desire. They do have the desire to buy. Okay? It is, once there is capacity, it will create a synergy. At the last outing, I cited the example of the United States under Obama, that Obama came and met recession. He raised wages. He gave money to big business. That created a synergy, which had a bullish run up till the term of Trump. You see, low wages never ever help any country. What low wages do is that they deepen poverty. You cannot redeem poverty with poverty. You eliminate poverty by creating wealth. So it's simple economics. So if you pay somebody 3,000, 20,000, it is. Let me give you the example of Anambra State. Has it become richer? Has Zamfara become richer? The states that have even paid more than the minimum wage appear to be doing better. Okay, performing better. So I shared with you the story of a state, or maybe no. I think it was BBC. I shared that story. You see, there was a governor who after a while said he was not going to pay 30,000. And we had a conversation with him. I told him, I said, look, of all the states around you here, yours is the most peaceful. You want to join the ranks of states with a crisis? Can't you see that there is a nexus between prosperity and security? I said, once you cease paying 30,000, you are going to introduce poverty into your state. Capacity will drop, and that is going to lead to unforeseen consequences. And he saw the need for it, and he paid. And he had a successful exit. That governor, if he's watching now, he knows himself, is occupying a strategic position in the country at the moment.
Would you respect, if you can hear me? If you can hear me?
If
you can hear me, I've given you the room to speak. If you can hear me, you've not still answered my question. Where is the productivity to pay 615,000?
So what is your question?
No, hang on a minute. Where is the productivity to pay 615,000 in a Nigeria of today that the economy is not growing? Where? I'm not saying pay shambolic salaries, don't get me wrong. 615,000 for the least worker in a Nigeria today that there's no productivity. So take for instance, if I have 10 people in the office and I run a small business and I don't make any money, my wage bill for those 10 people alone will be over 7 or 8 million naira. In a company where I barely makes 4 million naira a month, where are people going to be able to pay it? And please stop talking about America, because the dynamics of the economy is far different from what you have here. Let me give you like for like. Udoji Award in the 70s. We saw it happen in Nigeria, not in America. When we paid wage award, the inflation it brought over 40%. It happened here. So with this very small growth, where are you going to get the money for organized private sector to pay 615,000 for the least worker? Where? That's my question for you.
Are you done?
Yes,
are
sir.
you done?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask your question. I'm going to answer your question pointedly. First, I want you to look at the minimum, the National Minimum Wage Act. There are provisions for companies. You have to be in a position to employ a minimum of 25 persons from that up. Take a look at that act carefully. It is not every employer of labor that is covered by the National Minimum Wage Act. Take a look at that. That is one. Then two, you are speaking from the perspective of poverty. You say, where are they going to get the money from? That the economic growth is about 3% and so on and so forth. Have you tried to understand why you have such a stunted growth? There must be reasons for this. Address those fundamentals. Address them. When you keep on creating an increasingly hostile environment, and 40% of big business has collapsed, 30% of the level of business wiped out, 60% of smaller businesses gone. Have you asked yourself why this is so? You are looking at the symptoms. I want you to look at the fundamentals. You talk about Udoji Award in 74, 75. I remember very well. So that had effect, all right?
All right.
And you also said that that we should not listen. You also said that we should not compare Nigeria to America. Why wouldn't we compare Nigeria to America? We are paying American rates. What you pay in the filling station per liter now is what is charged in the US.
All right,
the rate to pay. The rate to pay. Let me tell you. No. I will answer you. I will answer you.
We're about to round off now.